Our friend Switch offered us a place to stay in Lake City, and although we hadn't planned to zero, we couldn't pass up free lodging. After a relaxing stay in town, we were back on trail and climbing straight back up into the mountains, then back down again, and then, you guessed it, back up. So we left Lake City today around noon, and we've already done 15 miles and 4,000 feet of gain. There have been huge, just a lot of climbs on this little section, but apparently it chills out after this. And we might do a 14er tomorrow though, to add a little elevation. Also, the sky behind me, or in front of me, is gnarly. Hoping, since I'm dropping down, that it'll be fine. The skies had been looking a little ominous all afternoon, so we decided to call it a day 15 miles in while we were still below tree line. Not bad for starting at 1 p.m., and we still set ourselves up for a quick ascent of San Luis Peak the next morning. Switch and I decided to climb San Luis Peak. It's a bit off trail, but not by much, and we could go down the other side and reconnect with the CDT in about 11 miles with no backtracking. Because we'd done so much gain the day before, the ascent to the peak was a lot easier than 14ers usually are for me, even with a pack on. After getting to the top of San Luis, my second ambitious goal for the day was to hike my first 30. Most of the afternoon was cruisy or downhill, and despite it being a relatively dry stretch, the miles went by quickly. We dry camped with several other hikers and planned for another big day. I may have overdone it the first 2 days because the next 3 were a bit of a blur. The lack of breaks and focus on just marching forward tends to make even scenic sections slightly mundane. There's not much to break up the monotony of mileage besides maybe a big climb, which isn't exactly a welcome distraction. My body was not on board for another huge day, so after lunch, Kid and I decided to stop a bit early. The lack of water through this section made that decision a bit tricky, and we had to stop even earlier than we anticipated. But we did get to camp at a really beautiful lake, all by ourselves. Our goal for day 61 was to get to a 3-walled shelter that would put us just a short distance from Monarch Pass, and hopefully a hitch into Salida. Our 4th day out of Lake City. Can't remember where we are anymore. And we'll get into Salida tomorrow. We'll narrow in. It's been kind of dry and hot the last day and a half or so. And luckily we're getting on a creek here in about half a mile. But it's also been smoky. And I had a little bit of service last night. Turns out there's a fire 20 miles from the CDT in the Rio Grande National Forest, which is where we are. So that explains the smoke. But no closures or anything. And I think we should be fine. Hopefully we'll get far enough away from it today, not have to worry about it. We're gonna try and do like a 25-mile day to a shelter, which is exciting, and then we'll have just 7 miles into Salida tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be pretty chill. Our goal for day 61 was to get to a 3-walled shelter that would put us just a short distance from Monarch Pass, and hopefully a hitch into Salida. After marching along all day, I had a somewhat inexplicable end-of-day meltdown, something that hadn't happened since New Mexico. But after a good night's sleep, I felt refreshed and ready for the hike into town. It was windy but gorgeous as we descended to Monarch Pass. It was the first really familiar part of Colorado for me, and the excitement of coming home propelled me through the morning. After running into our friend Monk and having some food at the pass and taking 2 different hitches, we made it to Hayduke's Hideout, a hostel run by 2 thru-hikers. We did laundry, used the outdoor shower, and reunited with friends. The next morning was one of our rare, successful departures from town without giving in to the temptation of a zero. I remember I started to feel like I was finally walking off some of the layers of normal life. I cried and laughed more easily. I was softening into the hard existence of a life stripped of regular creature comforts. I was giving into the raw freedom of time spent chasing miles and views and memories. I was leaning into the discomfort and dirt and difficulty of this almost ridiculous endeavor along the divide. I was finally reaching the stage where I could laugh at the adversity instead of being overwhelmed by it. Which is why, despite planning to go easy on ourselves, we ended up doing 15 miles and making it over a pass before camp that evening. We were rewarded for our ambition with one of our most beautiful campsites so far. There were hundreds of trout spawning in the inlets to the lake we camped at, and Kid even attempted to catch one with his hands.
Oh, there it is. Got it. Oh. 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 Come on. Hey,
There it goes. It's He was unsuccessful, but watching them jump up the stream felt like another great privilege of through hiking. A beautiful campsite meant a beautiful morning out of camp, which kinda helps with waking up early. But only kinda. We were expecting storms, so we tried to get miles in early. And in this early morning days, I somehow reversed myself on a switchback. It was one of the most confusing ways I've ever gotten lost, passing another hiker that I was pretty sure was northbound, going what I was pretty sure was the wrong way. After regaining my composure and northbound orientation, I continued on until lunch. Right around noon, huge clouds started to roll in, and it started to rain. We opted for a lower route and took up a 3-mile OHV hitch when it was offered to get down from the pass. That night, we camped at the road into Buena Vista. Nanner's friend got us in the morning, and we spent the day doing town chores and loitering around town like hiker trash. And we even did a little fly fishing. We ran into our friends Dirty A and Jarhead too, which was a lifesaver because we needed a ride to the KOA outside of town. Once there, it was still downpouring, but the maintenance worker there was a former through hiker and had some trail magic in store for us. We got through the night dry and ready to get back to trail the next morning.